Okay, this is called Why Don't Christians Heed Jesus' Message? I've been thinking where to start on this question. I think the best place to start would be Matthew 19, specifically verses 16 to 21. I think the focus the churches give to this passage is egregiously skewed from what is actually communicated here by Jesus. Verse 19 has a young, well-to-do man hailing Jesus as good teacher and asking what good thing he should do to enter into life eternal. Jesus responds by asking him why he called him good, and by telling him that none are good bar the Lord, the God of Israel. I know I'm not quoting directly, but I'll put the exact text in the low bar comments. Jesus effectively quashes all notions of his divinity at that point. If he considered himself to be even part of the Godhead, as a lot of people have called the Trinity, he would not have answered so decisively at this point. But then he says something I've never heard discussed from a pulpit, nay, not even from any of the manifold church folk that I've known. He says that if the young man wants to enter into life, then he should obey the commandments. Bemused, the young man asks, which commandments was Jesus referring to? Jesus confirms that he is, of course, speaking of the 10 Commandments, the ones set in stone. The young man replies eagerly that he has observed all of these since his youth. Jesus then looked at the young man with love and said, "You lack one thing." I'll refer to the King James rendering of this. He said, "Sell that thou hast and give it to the poor, that thou should have treasure in heaven, and then come and follow me." So, unless we're to abrogate Jesus' words for those acting in his name after his departure, those who want to be called saints, devotees, and true followers of the Lord God of Israel, that is, should heed Jesus' words and obey the commandments and heed the law of Moses. After all, Jesus was sent to return Israel to true religion and away from preferring the rabbinical commentaries, so that Israel could indeed be a light for the Gentiles. The account of the Syrophoenician woman further highlights who Jesus was sent to, as far as I'm concerned, and who he was tending to. The woman humbled herself, however, and recognized with the breath of her mouth that Israel are the Lord's chosen people. This, in my opinion, is why he had mercy on her. This is not to say that all is lost for the rest of the world. As it is written, Israel is to be a light to the Gentiles. On the contrary, not as all is not lost at all. The path to become a part of the congregation is laid out clearly in the Torah. There are caveats, of course, but then there are caveats with everything in life. The apostles' writings from after Jesus' departure actually, to a large degree, are heretical to what Jesus taught. They replaced the governance of the Torah with the 4 planks of Christianity. And by their own admission, they did that to make it more appealing to foreigners from Israel. I don't understand how the churches have been allowed to play this sleight of hand with what our devotion should be, and to teach Paul's sophistry as doctrine over the teaching of the Son of God known as Yeshua. For this, Moses will be their judge.